Here are my top 10 movies of 2025 so far. We are over halfway through the year. It's always a good time to sit back, take a deep breath, and see where we're at. Now, quick caveat, not only is this my subjective ranking, so you don't have to get upset or anything like that, but more than that, this is just A, for fun, and B, to put some movies on somebody's radar that might not otherwise have watched it. I think that's the only valid reason to make a list like this, is to show something different to people that they might like to watch. So check it out. At number 10 is a little movie called The Ballad of Wallace Island. This is directed by James Griffiths and written by Tom Basden and Tim Key, based on a short film that the two writers made. This is like a pure Sundance, quirky, feel-good comedy. It's about a man who has won the lottery and uses his now obscene wealth to bring his favorite band out to his house to play for him. And the band doesn't know that. They think it's like a big show. But this band has broken up. It's kind of like if I paid $3 million to have Oasis come play at my house, but 5 years ago. And the hilarity that would ensue from the band interacting with each other and their chagrin at realizing it's literally just me there watching. Things are even more complicated because the band is a now ex-boyfriend. Maybe they might have even been married. I'm not sure, but they were a couple that is no longer together. So there's extra drama there. It's hilarious. It's heartwarming. A lot of my friends caught this at Sundance. I did not. So this is a true blue, like Sundance hidden gem. Everybody who has seen this movie that I know really, really loves it. At number 9 is apparently controversial pick, not the last one. It's the newest film written and directed by Celine Song. This one is called Materialists, and it stars Dakota Johnson, Pedro Pascal, and Chris Evans. This is the rom-com that's not a rom-com, though I did laugh a lot. A lot of people don't think it's funny. I think it's hilarious. It's also kind of sad, and it does what Celine Song does best, which is invoking a really unspoken about facet of common human experience, especially as it relates to dating and love, and bringing that to the surface while hiding that in a movie that you thought was something else completely. So I think a lot of people that really hate this movie were going in expecting like a straight up Nora Ephron kind of rom-com that might star Jennifer Lopez or early 2000s Matthew McConaughey or Hugh Grant. And then they got this instead. And they were like, this is really uncomfortable. And they're talking about really serious shit. And that's dark. And I don't like that. And that's inappropriate. But I think it is appropriate. I think it's important that we talk about how harrowing and gross modern dating can be. And I love that she kind of roped us in with these really attractive people known for doing these kind of silly movies and thinking that we were going to get one kind of thing and then being smacked in the face with something else. But yeah, I thought it was very thought-provoking and very good to sit through. I love what Celine Song's doing. Can't wait to see what she does next. At number 8 is The Life of Chuck, written and directed by Mike Flanagan and based on a short story by Stephen King. But this is like Shawshank Redemption Stephen King, like the drama Stephen King, not like It or The Shining Stephen King. It's not a horror film. So you think Mike Flanagan, you think Stephen King, don't expect either of those things with The Life of Chuck. This is the newest collection of monologues to help you question your entire existence from Mike Flanagan. I really like this movie. I didn't love it as much as I love, like Midnight Mass literally changed my life. Haunting of Hill House literally changed my life. I'm not even exaggerating. Those are so good. This is not that, but it was incredibly thought-provoking. And I don't watch trailers or have any experience usually with knowing what a movie's even about as often as I can. And so I knew it was The Life of Chuck. I knew it was Mike Flanagan. I knew it was Tom Hiddleston and a bunch of people that are always in Mike Flanagan movies like Kate Siegel, and didn't know much else. And I'm glad that I did it that way. It's even hard to describe without potentially ruining some of the experience. The movie is cut into distinct thirds. And not just in an act structure way, but like the story changes drastically in each act as more is revealed about what is actually going on. It starts as kind of the world is ending kind of thing, and I'll just leave it as that. But ultimately, it's going to have you thinking a lot about what it means to be alive and the time that we spend here. And it's going to have you thinking about the afterlife and regret and things left unsaid and things left undone. And if that sounds really sad, it is, but it's a bittersweet kind of exploration of those things. I think you ultimately leave happy. At number 7, the most surprising movie of the year and probably the weirdest looking one on this list is K-Pop Demon Hunters, a Netflix movie about exactly that. K-pop demon hunters. They are huge stars in the K-pop world, and also they hunt demons. I don't know what else you want me to explain. It's right there in the title for you guys. It's from the same studio, Sony Animation, that did Into the Spider-Verse. And this movie is kind of like if you mixed Into the Spider-Verse with that zany energy, with something heartfelt and sharing of a culture like Turning Red, and then mixed it with like the video game Devil May Cry. That's what you get with this movie. I love it so much. I've watched it a couple of times already. I listened to the soundtrack at the gym, hit a new PR. I didn't know I liked K-pop. I don't think I do, but maybe I do. I don't know. It's got great music. It's got great energy. I cried a couple of times. It's got some good plot twists, really beautiful animation. I don't even know why I clicked on this, except that I'm a man who is curious, and I'm glad that I am, because it's so weird and so random that this movie rocks so hard. K-pop Demon Hunters. Watch it now. My number 6 is another animated film. It's called Predator, Killer of Killers, and it's co-directed and co-written by Dan Trachtenberg, who wrote and directed the last Predator installment that we got a few years ago, Prey, which is definitely the best Predator movie since the original Predator. It might be my favorite Predator movie, period. And Killer of Killers is awesome. It's a triptych. It's 3 different stories and 3 different timelines, and exploring different cultures fighting the Yautja, or however you choose to pronounce that alien race. You've got Vikings, you've got samurai, and you've got a World War II pilot fighting these creatures. They all come together in a really unique and creative way. And it actually ends in a way that I think ties into what they're doing with this universe and film in general. It's so fun, so brutally violent. And it left me so excited for Predator Badlands, which is also coming out later this year, also directed by Dan Trachtenberg. It might be my most anticipated movie for the rest of the year. It might be. That might be crazy to say, because we got Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein and all kinds of other good shit coming. But I am so hyped for what Dan Trachtenberg is doing for this universe. He's one of the best action directors, I think, up and coming that we've got these days. And it's just awesome. It's really good animation. Check it out. Kicking off the top 5, I'm probably one of the few to have this movie this high, but I'm just a John Wick stan from way, way back. I'm working on a big back piece tattoo. I love this shit. It's from the world of John Wick, Ballerina. I was hesitantly so excited for this movie in advance. I was very worried that it was directed by Len Wiseman instead of Chad Stahelski. And then we got reports that Chad Stahelski had stepped in to help shoot a lot of the stuff or do reshoots. Len Wiseman says that's not true. He was just in the hospital busy, and Chad directed like 1 or 2 sequences. Doesn't matter if you believe that or not. This movie actually rocks. And I think Ana de Armas does a great job picking up the John Wick mantle. She does some really nitty gritty, down and dirty choreography. She really gets in there. And this movie had some of the most creative action set pieces ever in a franchise known for its ridiculously unique and creative action set pieces. And I had no reason to hope that would be that good. The script is interesting because it was written by Shay Hatton, and it was originally intended to be a movie not set in the John Wick universe. It was just a spec script inspired by John Wick 2 trailer, I think is what Shay Hatton reported. And then so Lionsgate bought it and like kind of retrofitted it to be a John Wick movie. And you can see that. Once you know that, I think you'll watch the movie and see where they did that and how they did that and why certain things are weird. But it's so fun. I can't wait to watch it again. It's out on VOD now. So if you want to rent it, you can as of right now. Ballerina rocks. At number 4 is a movie written and directed by Chris Andrews called Bring Them Down. And this movie stars Barry Keoghan, and it's kind of like a Hatfields and McCoy's kind of rural family enmity movie about revenge. And trigger warnings for this movie if you're everybody should be upset by this, but if you really can't watch animals being hurt, definitely do not watch Bring Them Down. This is a very disturbing movie, but I think it's really underrated. Not a lot of people have seen this movie or talked about it, and I think that you should. It was profoundly affecting. It's one of the most upsetting movies that I've seen this year, but also one that I've thought about the most. I don't want to talk too much about it because of where that it goes. Just know I don't want to throw you in there without any warning that it's very upsetting. And you're like, Barry Keoghan's always upsetting, and that's fair, but it's more than that, I guarantee it. My number 3 is a movie written by David Koepp, directed by Steven Soderbergh, and it's not Presents because they had 2 come out this year. It's called Black Bag. This movie is so sexy. It's such a good romance caper. I love spy shit. We've been getting so much good spy shit. And this is another one. This is kind of the best of the best. It's got Michael Fassbender. It's got Cate Blanchett. I loved this movie so much. The script is so good, and it's kind of the best part of this movie. But also, it's got a good marriage and people who work together well and trust each other. Some good juicy twists and just really solid performances. Everybody chewing scenery. This is the kind of movie that they don't really make very often anymore. And so many people say that this movie's boring. And that's fine. Everything's subjective. But part of me dies a little bit inside, like, you're the problem. But I'm not judging you. If you don't like it, just know that I love it. I think it's sexy as hell. I think it's awesome and one of the best of the year. My number 2 spot was the toughest for me to fill. I thought about this longer than was healthy, longer than was needed. I might need other hobbies. I thought so long about this. But I think Sinners is going to be in my number 2 spot. And it was so hard for me to do that because I think this movie's amazing. I think it's in many ways the movie of the year. It deserves the spot as like the big conversation set piece that we've had so far in regards to cinema. It's so ridiculously successful as an original horror film. Ryan Coogler is really that guy. And I love this movie. I've got the Steelbook coming. And as you're watching this, it's probably on my shelf, which is exciting. I get to rewatch it. I've only seen it once, so that might move it back up to number 1 where it has been since it came out. But I just couldn't put it there because 28 years later is the movie that I just cannot stop thinking about. It is my number 1 of the year so far. I've made 2 short form videos about it. I've written an essay about it. I did a 2-hour podcast about it. I've talked to countless friends and colleagues about this movie, and I still am finding more things to recommend about it, more themes to unpack. In the year that we got a show like Adolescence, having this movie that I think is largely about masculinity and what men teach their boys about how to navigate the world and how toxic that can be is so important. And it's such I think, a waypoint for how to do a thought-provoking, reinvigorating legacy sequel. We get a sea of these legacy sequels nowadays that just try to manipulate nostalgia and what was, instead of thinking about the context of our current zeitgeist, our current culture, and what this story can do now, what it has to say now. And this movie does that. It really changes the game completely. And a lot of people, this is a very polarizing movie for reasons that I really kind of can't fathom. I think that it's good when you have a controversial movie, because a polarizing movie, that means that decisions were made. It wasn't just a movie made by committee and sent to 10 different test audiences and made to appeal to the broadest audience as possible. That's a good thing. But this movie specifically, I think, is the perfect spiritual successor to 28 Days Later. If you rewatch that original movie, things change dramatically as to what the movie's about by the end of it. It's not at all the zombie movie you thought it was going to be. It's got a very similar act structure and pace. And I think people just kind of misremember the original film if they think that this movie is just so dramatically different in terms of its plot structure and where it goes. But it is very different in the best kind of way. I'm so excited that we get another movie in January, The Bone Temple, directed by Nia DaCosta, to continue this new trilogy. But yeah, I think there's more meat on this bone than in any other movie so far. So that's 28 years later. That's my number one. Let me know in the comments your favorite movies of the year so far, in case I missed any. I want to watch as many as possible. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe and be kind to each other in the comments. That's all we've got time for right now. Thank you very much.